Tonight on NewsWatch, investigation over, and 6 high-profile ministries broke no IRS rules.
Plus, new jobs numbers show improvement, but doesn't mean the economy is turning around.
And 10 ways to get healthier in 2011. We'll show you how to keep those New Year's resolutions. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. An investigation into the finances of several world-famous ministries is over. Good evening, I'm Lee Webb.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. The Senate probe looked at the spending habits of these tax-exempt ministries. The final report just released found no wrongdoing. No penalties or fines have been handed to any pastors. But the report did raise some questions about personal spending. So where does the matter go from here? Paul Strand explains in tonight's top story.
Senator Charles Grassley started to investigate the prominent pastors 3 years ago. He wasn't happy with the lack of oversight for their tax-exempt ministries. At the time, he told them not to take it personally.
This is not a crusade against ministries, and it has nothing to do with doctrine. It only has to do with the enforcement of law, and it's no different than the investigation that I've been doing on nonprofits for the last 5 years.
The Iowa Republican went after some very big names: Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, Bishop Eddie Long, Joyce Meyer, and Randy and Paula White. Most of the ministries cooperated and received strong support from the pews.
Everybody that does well doesn't mean they've done wrong.
You give your money to this ministry, we're going to treat it right. We're going to comply with the IRS.
It's not a clean slate, though, as Grassley still questions their personal use of church-owned airplanes, luxury homes, and credit cards. What the senator wants now, and is getting, is a commission created by the main group that watches over ministries and accredits that they're on the up and up. This commission, headed up by these two men, will independently look into some of the thorniest issues that keep the public and the IRS suspicious about big-dollar ministries.
And to help facilitate discussion on whether these issues can be addressed without legislation. The senator has told us he believes legislation should be the last resort.
One issue the commission will probe that many pastors may appreciate: whether to wipe out prohibiting ministries from certain political speech, like endorsing candidates.
Freedom of religion and freedom of speech. There are religious leaders who believe that the current law inhibits their ability to exercise those freedoms in a manner that they believe is constitutional.
The commissioners emphasize their work is independent of the IRS or any other part of government. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Finally, some good news to report on the economy tonight. The unemployment rate fell sharply last month to 9.4%. That's the lowest level in 19 months. The numbers are good, but they fell short of what many economists had predicted. The unemployment report comes as President Obama is trying to reach out to the business community. Jennifer Wishon has that story now from Washington.
The new year is ushering in new hope for Americans searching for work and lawmakers working to improve the economy. Applications for unemployment benefits are down, fewer people are being laid off, and the holiday shopping season was the best in 4 years.
So what are we doing?
Just hours after the improved job numbers were released, President Obama visited a window manufacturing plant in Maryland.
We want businesses to grow, we want this economy to grow, and we want to put people back to work. And I want to promise everybody at Thompson Creek and across the country, we will not rest until we have fully recovered from this recession and we have reached that brighter day.
The president has assembled a new economic team to help him get there, including Gene Sperling, who will head the National Economic Council, a job he held in the Clinton administration. The president has also named former Clinton Commerce Secretary Bill Daley as his new chief of staff. Daley has political experience, but also strong ties to the business community, a group the president has struggled to connect with.
Everybody at the White House, we have one focus, and that is making sure that we are duplicating the success of places like Thompson Creek all across the country.
He can also help the president navigate policy through a divided Congress. The president's pick drew quick praise from one of his adversaries, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
This is a guy that understands the issues, understands the players, knows the players, and knows how to make it work.
Liberals aren't happy about Daley's appointment. They worry he's too cozy with Wall Street, and they point out his former employer, J.P. Morgan Chase, received billions in federal bailout money. However, the appointments of Daley and Sperling are evidence that the president is working to reach out to the business community and repositioning himself as more of a centrist heading into the 2012 elections. Politically, it may be the president's only option. A Rasmussen poll finds 87% of likely voters rate the economy as a very important issue. And when it comes to who voters think can fix America's economic woes, the poll finds voters continue to trust Republicans more than Democrats. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
The new GOP-controlled House moves a step closer to fulfilling a campaign pledge repealing President Obama's health care law. Today's vote, mostly along party lines, sets the stage for a simple up or down vote. Republicans want to repeal what they call the job-killing law, as if it were never enacted, arguing that it will add to the national debt. But Democrats say a repeal would deny important provisions Americans already depend on.
This Republican bill has had no public hearings, no committee consideration, and is not paid for.
Only in Washington, D.C. could a Congress vote to repeal a $2.7 trillion government takeover of health care, and the minority says it costs the American people money.
The final vote is scheduled next Wednesday.
The New Hampshire Supreme Court is considering whether parents have a constitutional right to homeschool their children. The case involves a divorced couple. The mother is homeschooling her 11-year-old daughter. The father is opposed to that. A lower court ruled that the girl must go to a public school, saying it's important for her to be exposed to group learning and a variety of viewpoints. But the mother's attorney tells CBN News that's a violation of parental rights.
The court went beyond the disagreement of the parents and offered an opinion that the child was being raised with rigid religious views and had not had an opportunity to be exposed to other points of view to challenge these religious views.
Attorneys for the father, though, argue that the parents have no constitutional right to homeschool their children. The court's decision is expected in several months. Violent collisions have been part of football since the game's invention back in the 19th century, but this season has been especially brutal when it comes to helmet-to-helmet hits. Some studies indicate that more than 100,000 concussions happen on the football field each year. Now one company hopes to reduce that number. Here's Mark Martin.
Cobb in trouble, gets rid of it. Oh, big hit on Deshaun Jackson.
Deliberate helmet-to-helmet collisions have plagued the NFL this season. The league hopes suspending players will lead to helmets being used less and less as weapons. The violent collisions are also a growing problem in college games. This player was paralyzed after a hit.
Hit just wrong, I guess, and I really had a bad feeling, and when I got out there, it was what I feared, so.
We really feel it's a revolutionary product.
The company known as Battle Sports Science hopes its new chin strap will help when it comes to detecting serious blows to the head.
It's the closest to center of gravity, which is where you really need to be to accurately measure G-force, duration. We want to make sure that all athletes are protected.
A green light in the chin strap stays on when the device is working, but when two heads collide, if that color changes, it could mean a pretty serious problem. 3 colors indicate levels of probable concussions, from a 51% chance to 70%, up to a 90% chance of a concussion. All warnings for trainers and coaches.
We help them identify that there's been a hit where someone needs to be taken off the field and evaluated to determine whether or not they're ready to play.
For nearly 2 years, researchers have been in the lab. They've been field testing the chin strap on players for the last couple of months.
It felt real comfortable, and it was a great experience to wear it, and I believe it's going to be successful.
We really feel that it's going to save kids. It could save somebody's life.
Battle Sports Science hopes to have the chin strap on helmets across the country for the 2011 season. Mark Martin, CBN News.
The Ohio homeless man with a golden voice went on Good Morning America today to explain how a YouTube video transformed his life. Just days ago, a Columbus Dispatch video showcased Ted Williams' voice and made him an overnight sensation. The job offers are now pouring in. It even led to a reunion with his mother. He hadn't seen her in 10 years, due in part to substance abuse. The two appeared on Good Morning America this morning and gave all the credit to God.
I survived through going to church and believing in God. I have survived. God has looked over me all the way, and He's helped me through.
Her son has struggled for years with alcohol and drugs. He's also had several run-ins with police. Anchor Robin Roberts asked Williams what will be different this time.
In all my successes in the past and all the breaks that I did have in my life, I never acknowledged God in no shape, form, or fashion. I was grateful, but I never got on my knees and said, "Thank you, God." This time around, nothing for granted. I'm not taking not a minute for granted, and I'm going to thank Him, acknowledge Him. Somebody gave me the Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not toward your own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He'll direct your path. And for that reason alone, I think I'm here today.
And as you can see, Williams has already been back at work this week, taking advantage of his amazing gift from God.
It is a compelling story. I'm troubled a little bit by America's fascination with celebrity. Just a simple YouTube video is what made this guy famous. My hope and prayer is that indeed he does turn his life around.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity, and he certainly does have a gift. I know you were in radio one time, so was I, and that voice is golden.
It is golden.
Well, we wish him well. Coming up, a bird's eye view. Find out why the world is watching Sudan by satellite.
Sullivan here for ShaveMate. All-in-one razors, Titan for men, Diva for women. Simplify your shaving, simplify your life. ShaveMate razors combine 6 premium blades and thick, rich, real shaving cream right inside the handle. So you'll never have to deal with the mess of cans of shaving cream again. ShaveMate is the perfect shaving solution for home, the gym, a business trip, or vacation.
It's everything in this one little package. It's perfect.
You get a great shave every time. I think it's going to change the way everybody shaves.
Order right now, and I won't just double the value, I'll triple it, absolutely free. We'll even include our convenient shower hook. You get a total of 3 shave mates in your choice of Titan or Diva, and the shower hook, all for only $9.99. Here's how to order.
Order now. Call 1-800-655-8514 or go to shavemate.com. That's 1-800-655-8514 or go to shavemate.com.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now, and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs, and they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
Well, there's too much fluoride in drinking water. That's according to the U.S. government. Fluoride is a mineral that dramatically reduces cavities and tooth decay, but too much of it causes tooth streaking and spottiness. And a government study found the problem in 2 out of 5 adolescents. So the government now plans to lower the recommended fluoride level for public drinking water. Well, a surprising number of younger people are ending up in nursing homes. New government numbers show about 1 in 7 nursing home residents in the U.S. are under 65. That's up about 22% over the last 8 years. Experts say the increase is due to medical advances that have kept people alive after traumatic injuries and an increase in mental health facilities closing. Nursing home caregivers say younger residents share many of the same physical demands as the older ones, but they are being challenged to accommodate the very different psychological and social needs.
The flooding in Australia has let up, and water levels in some areas, thankfully, are going down. Many of the flood victims are returning home, but authorities warn that recovery will be slow. This was Australia's worst flood in decades. They say that some rebuilding can be done in a few months, but A total recovery could take years. The flooding hit 22 towns and severely disrupted the Australian coal mining industry. Heavy-hearted Christians in Egypt packed churches to attend Christmas Eve masses. They put aside fears of another attack like the suicide bombing of a church that killed 21 worshipers on New Year's Eve, or New Year's rather. Terrorist groups have been threatening an attack for a week. Militant websites even posted names and addresses of churches to target in Egypt. Still, Christians turned out for the services in large numbers. Police were assigned to guard Christmas Eve services across the country.
The world is watching Sudan literally. It's part of the new Satellite Sentinel project designed to prevent more genocide there. Actor George Clooney has thrown his support behind the effort to use the satellites. Supporters fear that the Muslim-Christian political conflict could plunge Sudan back into another bloody civil war. Jonathan Hudson is part of the Satellite Sentinel project. He says satellite surveillance is the most advanced way for the world to see and react to potential aggression.
And we can look at things like monitoring the buildup of troops, the movement of troops. We can look at other potential threats to civilians. We could look at acts of aggression, like already we've had bombings and burnings of villages. We can look for masses of displaced people who might be in need of humanitarian aid, medicine, water, food, and tell efficiently how to get there. So when we see a war crime or potential genocide happening, we'd be able to upload to Google Earth and Google Maps in near real time the images for all the world to see and practical tools for you to take action. And that means you can get involved with your voice in pressuring policymakers like President Obama to respond swiftly and appropriately. This would be the first open source early warning platform to get involved where the public can help stop a war before it starts.
And you can see our entire interview with Hudson on our website, cbnnews.com.
It has been nearly a year since the Haiti earthquake. It killed more than 250,000 people and left more than 1 million homeless. Sunday, evangelist Franklin Graham will hold what he's calling a festival of hope at the soccer stadium in Port-au-Prince. Excuse me. Haiti's churches invited Graham to come and remind people there is hope in God. Musician Michael W. Smith will also perform. CBNNews.com will broadcast that event live at 1:30 Eastern Time Sunday afternoon.
Up next, start the new year on the right foot. We'll give you our top 10 tips to keep you healthy in 2011.
The doctor came in. I was still waking up from anesthesia. He leaned over my bed and he said, "Laura, you have cancer." And he walked out of the room. The first thought is, what's going to happen to my children?
It's pretty rare for a person as young as me to get Hodgkin's disease. Well, you would think, am I going to be here next year? Am I going to be able to spend more time with my family? And that was really hard.
The doctor says I would like to have his wife, his pastor, and his 2 best friends present. Then you know you're about to receive really bad news. There was very little hope given to us.
I just wanted this cancer out of me. I wanted to take care of it and move on.
We saw an ad on TV for Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And when I called them, I was very surprised that they were so quick to help us.
The second that we walked through the door, I knew that was the place that I wanted to be. If it wasn't for their kindness and giving, it would be unbearable to be able to go through something like that. And I honestly don't know how people who don't get that are able to handle it.
We were looking for medical care that would help us fight cancer, not manage it, but to actually fight it and beat it. And that's what we found.
Most people thought that that was a death sentence. I knew that I wanted to fight this. I knew I wasn't going to let that happen to me.
If you're a winner and you're a fighter and you're strong, you're going to stay that way. Your mental makeup, your attitude that you've taken your whole life with you, you're going to keep that attitude.
I said, let's just do it, and let me go on with my life.
Call now and we'll send you this free DVD that shows you how the most compassionate group of people anywhere puts you at the center of everything we do. Advanced medical treatment combined with unique supportive therapies give you treatment options you may not even know exist.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is the way of the future. Patients are now taking control of their own healthcare destiny.
I truly wondered when he had cancer if I would ever get him back. Thanks to Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I have my husband back.
Well, many Americans make a New Year's resolution to live a healthier life. Seems like I do every year. Studies show that the more specific, though, that you are about it, the more likely you are to reach your goal.
Or just wear black, like me. So, well, get out your pen and paper. Here's Lori Johnson with the top 10 healthy habits for the new year.
The #1 healthy habit for the new year is exercise because of the short-term and long-term benefits. Right away, it can improve your mood, reduce stress, and even make your brain work better. And over time, it can prevent health problems ranging from obesity and diabetes to heart disease and even cancer. This is all because of what exercise does inside your body, according to Dr. Harry Lodge, author of the bestseller Younger Next Year.
It turns out that your cells really don't age. They either grow or they decay. If you do things in your life that trigger growth in the cells, then your body gets stronger, younger, fitter, healthier, better able to resist disease, and you live life as functionally a young man or woman until very, very late in the game.
#2, eat a healthy breakfast with protein within 90 minutes after you wake up. It triggers metabolism and keeps you from getting too hungry and overeating later in the day. #3, eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. 1 serving equals a half cup of cooked vegetables or a full cup of raw or leafy vegetables or a small whole fruit. #4, avoid trans fats. They're found in mostly processed foods, so if the list of ingredients includes hydrogenated, stay away. Ironically, trans fats prolong a food's shelf life, but it has the opposite effect on our bodies, according to Dr. Michael Aziz, author of The Perfect 10 Diet.
Trans fats are really like plastic, and when we eat them, they incorporate in our cells, and the cells cannot communicate or talk to one another. In turn, hormones are disturbed. Weight gain follows, but more troubling, the risk for heart disease, cancer, stroke, infertility goes up.
#5, eat the good fats, namely omega-3s found in foods like fish, especially salmon, sardines, and fish oil supplements. Other choices include walnuts, almonds, and flaxseed. They've been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, improve your immunity, and reduce inflammation. #6, and one of the toughest, avoid sugar. Its negative laundry list runs from obesity to diabetes to heart disease and cancer. The average American consumes 135 pounds of sugar a year, compared to only 5 pounds 120 years ago. This includes hidden sugars like corn syrup, sucrose, glucose, and lactose. Celebrity diet coach Joy Bauer, author of the 90-10 weight loss plan, says start by going cold turkey.
The first 7 days, I completely eliminate all sugars, both real sugars and artificial sweeteners, because when you remove the taste of sweet from your mind and your taste buds, eventually it gets much easier and you stop craving it. And so many people, when they start week 2 and they're allowed to start adding some of these sugars back into their plan, they don't even want them because they feel great without it.
Good health is more than just diet and exercise. For example, did you know that the best way to avoid getting sick is to keep your hands clean? When using hand sanitizer, make sure it's at least 60% alcohol. Get in all those nooks and crannies and rub your hands until they're dry. When using soap and water, lather up for a full 20 seconds. #8, practice good dental hygiene. Believe it or not, periodontal infection contributes to heart disease, diabetes, and even premature underweight births. #9, get regular screenings depending on your age and gender. Some of the most important ones are an annual physical, blood pressure and cholesterol checks, colonoscopy, mammogram, pap test, prostate, and skin cancer screenings. And last but not least, get enough sleep. According to Dr. James Moss, author of Sleep for Success, if you don't get your Z's, you're setting yourself up for a whole host of health problems.
You're going to be irritable, anxious, depressed. You're going to gain weight. You have a greater risk for hypertension, that's heart attacks and strokes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, skin problems and cancer. And your cognitive performance slows down. You can't think, you can't remember, you're not creative, you can't think critically.
So at a time when many of us vow to start afresh, take note of these healthy habits to make 2011 your healthiest year yet. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Up next, the newest family-friendly movie that won't require a trip to the theater.
The doctor came in. I was still waking up from anesthesia. He leaned over my bed and he said, "Laura, you have cancer." And he walked out of the room. The first thought is, what's going to happen to my children?
It's pretty rare for a person as young as me to get Hodgkin's disease. Oh, you would think, am I going to be here next year? Am I going to be able to spend more time with my family? And that was really hard.
The doctor says I would like to have his wife, his pastor, and his 2 best friends present. Then you know you're about to receive really bad news. There was very little hope given to us.
I just wanted this cancer out of me. I wanted to take care of it and move on.
We saw an ad on TV for Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And when I called them, I was very surprised that they were so quick to help us.
The second that we walked through the door, I knew that was the place that I wanted to be. If it wasn't for their kindness and giving, it would be unbearable to be able to go through something like that. And I honestly don't know how people who don't get that are able to handle it.
We were looking for medical care that would help us fight cancer, not manage it, but to actually fight it and beat it. And that's what we found.
Most people thought that that was a death sentence. I knew that I wanted to fight this. I knew I wasn't going to let that happen to me.
If you're a winner and you're a fighter and you're strong, you're going to stay that way. Your mental makeup, your attitude that you've taken your whole life with you, you're going to keep that attitude.
I said, let's just do it, and let me go on with my life.
Call now and we'll send you this free DVD that shows you how the most compassionate group of people anywhere puts you at the center of everything we do. Advanced medical treatment combined with unique supportive therapies give you treatment options you may not even know exist.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is the way of the future. Patients are now taking control of their own healthcare destiny.
I truly wondered when he had cancer if I would ever get him back. Thanks to Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I have my husband back.
Family Movie Night returns to television this weekend.
Walmart and Procter & Gamble have teamed up to bring you a film the entire family can watch together. It's called Change of Plans.
This is their final will.
We're completely unsuited to be parents.
We have careers. We barely even have time for each other. And kids, not in the playbook.
I don't suppose you'd be interested in seeing them.
In the film, a happy couple must decide if they're willing to sacrifice their successful careers and busy lives to take care of 4 children. This is the 4th family film Walmart and Procter & Gamble have teamed up to produce in the last 9 months.
There's plenty of room for more family programming out there, and there's a big desire for it from families across the country. I'm proud to say that our first three movies have had great success. We came in either number 1 or number 2 in our time slot versus all other networks and shows.
Change of Plans airs Saturday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox.
It's great to see Fox airing a movie like that. They have not been family friendly in prime time over the years, and it's great to see a redemptive movie like that.
I didn't realize Walmart was in the movie business.
That's encouraging.
Get your toothpaste and watch a movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch.
Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. We'll see you next time.
Good night.